We have breaking news coming from the U.S. An Amtrak passenger train has derailed on a bridge in Washington state. We also know one of its cars appears to have tumbled over onto a busy highway. There are reports of injuries and casualties. We're hearing there could have been about 70 people on that train. And as you can see from these first pictures from the scene, it is a serious accident. Local media reports say this is a new high-speed train, that in fact this was its first day in service. More details on that crash still coming in. John Northcott and his team in the breaking news department are working on this. What are you getting, John?
So Anna, here's what we're putting together as we get pictures and we find more information about this. We know that the train left Seattle around 8 a.m. local time along this major track. It's the 501 train. Here are the pictures that we're seeing. We can see at least two carriages on the highway or tipping off the bridge as well. There's going to be a locomotive in that mix somewhere there as well as we look at these pictures that are coming in. You can see what has been described as a massive influx of emergency personnel to deal with the situation. Again, multiple sources saying injuries. To what extent, we do not know. Fatalities, we do not know at this point. But again, you can see it there. You can see the track effectively twisted off, as they say in cases like this, almost like a toy there on what is the southbound lane of highway lanes, I should say, multiple lane highway of I-5, the southbound. And there you can see the kind of lineup. We can tell you that it's backed up for miles now as a result of that. This is the area that we're talking about here. Now, we're just going to take you in a bit and show you on the map. This is the black and white line is the train track itself, and you can see because it would be heading south, it is going in this direction, would be doing this. This is the I-5 heading southbound as well. All southbound lanes at this point blocked off as a result of that. So that is the scenario that we're seeing, and when we take that and expand it up, there, when you look at, there it is, Washington State as it goes from Washington down to Oregon as well. This 501 train, this high-speed train. This is what we're hearing from the governor. Thank you to the first responders on the scene. We're praying for everyone on board the train and ask for everyone to hold them in your thoughts. Suhanna, that's the latest.
And John, we're also getting, I'm getting information fed into my ear with some other stuff that several cars, as you mentioned, were struck on the highway, and you did bring out the point that multiple motorists were injured as well. So this is the ripple effect of this train derailing. And I also understand, John, this was the first day of a new service on this line. Do you have any details on that?
Yeah, this was something that was unveiled effectively on the weekend, saying here we are with a ribbon cutting to a new station that was also part of a new high-speed service on this route, again, this 501 route as well. And we can tell you that they have a new type of locomotive. This is a diesel electric. It's a Siemens Charger. Siemens, of course, the engineering giant originally out of Germany. They have been purchasing and shipping these type of locomotives to the United States in operation in the U.S. only since August of this past year. And we understand that today was the inaugural run of this service using this new train. It is high speed and sort of European model in terms of being able to reach speeds as high as 200 kilometers an hour. At this point, though, was speed a factor? We do not know, but we do know, take you back to that map and look at that bend there in the train track as it goes over that overpass. It has been a factor before in crashes too fast going into a curve. We'll see as the investigation with authorities on the ground. It could be days or weeks or months before we find that aspect of the story. Suhanna?
Officials are giving us an update on that breaking news of an Amtrak train derailment. We'll listen in live.
For quite some time.
And you mentioned the train derailed at about 7:40 this morning. Was there any traffic on the rails before that, around that time?
We don't know anything that when it comes to the rails yet, what's going on. Yeah. So this is what you're seeing is what it is. And on the other side of that bridge, there's 3 or 4 more cars that are upside down on the road and in the woods.
And you mentioned there are some people who have been able to walk off the train where they are right now.
People that have walked off the train, they're being cared for, and transportation's coming to take care of them.
And that's where they are in those tents that we're seeing behind us. Can you talk a little bit about what we're seeing behind us, where people are being treated?
Well, you know, one of the things, we train for this all the time. You know, we have Air Force bases and train tracks and ferries, and so this is a multiple agency response, a very coordinated response between multiple fire departments, JBLM, Thurston County, Pierce County, and they're all working in a pre-planned operation, which is to get the survivors out, get the injured to the hospitals, and obviously if there's fatals, they'll have to deal with those later.
And as a point of clarification, I may have missed it, but it's early on, but do you have any idea when you say multiple fatalities, does that mean dozens or does that mean?
At this point, we're just told there's multiple fatalities. What that means, I don't know. I've heard a lot of different numbers, so we're not confirming anything until somebody does it.
The sheriff in that county, Ed Schroyer was his name, and giving us some information about that Amtrak train derailment. It happened at 7:40 local time, so we're looking at 10:40 Eastern time. 70 people on that train on a run between south of Seattle, just about 60 kilometers or so south of Seattle in Pierce County. We are also hearing that there are multiple fatalities, not sure of the number. We already knew there were multiple injuries, and those who are hurt and are able to walk off the train, and there were some, are being treated at an emergency response team that's been set up there. There are tents. You can see those lights flashing. People are being treated there. They're being given blankets. Perhaps it's shock, whatever, but there are medical first responders there. Now, as far as the fatalities go, no numbers on that. What I do know is there were about 70 people in total on all of those cars on the train. I can't tell you how many cars actually derailed. We did see some shots earlier, and you can see it back there. Can you see on the top right of your screen that there seems to be a car that's hanging over that overpass, and that is Interstate 5 there. So at 7:40 in the morning, not sure quite how busy that interstate would have been, but there, I'm assuming everyone who was able to get off that train has been taken off and to safety and to medical treatment. As for the fatalities, still waiting on a number there.